All right, what's going on, boys and girls? So this particular video, we're going to be talking about Canonical's recent posting for a desktop Linux gaming product manager, and why of all times would they be choosing this. The short version, when Canonical and Steam were, announced Steam for Linux originally in 2012, they went to an Ubicon to make that announcement. Stellar. Ubuntu was the de facto standard for Steam. 10 years later, it's Manjaro. So what happened? Canonical got lazy. I'm just going to be real right now. If you look at what they are not doing. So I've basically a fresh install of Ubuntu 2004 right now. This is the, GNOME version. Those that know me, not a GNOME guy, not a fan, not a big fan of CSD and all the other nonsense. Not my cup of tea. You'll notice I'm using OBS 25, which is directly pulled from the repo, because managing snaps, I don't mind snaps. I don't mind container apps and all the other stuff. What I hate is managing the permissions in snaps through the CLI, because that's a trash user experience. And we'll get into what I mean by trash user experience. So you want a game on, Ubuntu. Well, so here's the thing. You want a game on Ubuntu? Well, if you have the default Snap Store, good luck finding stuff. So what I generically do is I sudo snap remove Snap Store, and I go and download AppGrid and use that. The default GNOME software experience is just as bad as the Ubuntu software store center, or whatever the hell they're calling it, because updates are slow as crap to actually update. As far as like the progress on them, they stop and stutter, and it's just a crap user experience. So if they insist on that kind of storefront, go use PAWMAC. It's GTK. It looks better, it functions better, it has a software-only mode, it hides the libraries, so it's a very user-friendly approach, and you can enable snaps and Flatpaks by 2 clicks. Done. And you can manage all the stuff from there. So, get rid of the Ubuntu Software Center. Use PAWMAC. Call it whatever the hell you want, but use PAWMAC if you're going to go that route. So, second of all, another thing that makes this Ubuntu specifically a kind of not a great user experience for gamers is the driver utility. It's functional, but function and form are two very different things. So defaultly, the 470 drivers were installed, which whatever, they're tested. Okay, fine, that's cool. I expected that to be the highest driver available. No, I actually had to go into this and, oh, hey, look, the 495 driver was available, but that wasn't the one I was using. I was using the 470 driver, which was a year old. Gamers are going to want the new drivers for new improvements, which, as it relates to NVIDIA, as it relates to AMD stuff, AMD, they're going to want the newest Mesa and the newest kernels, because they're going to see those improvements in that particular end of the spectrum. That's how they get those improvements. And you cannot tell me there is not a way, because the system will tell you exactly what type of system it is from the hardware detector of what kind of hardware you're running. So you cannot tell me there's not some way to enable latest kernels and Mesa for AMD based hardware in the similar vein of this. You can't tell me that. So those are just a few things there. Let's get into the store specific stuff, Epic. So say you want the Epic Game Store. So we'll pop open AppGrid here, and we'll type in Epic Games. Oh, hey, look, no results. Now, what should go there for results, because that's in the repositories that Canonical maintains, should be either the Rare or Epic Games Launcher. Those are the two that should be there. They're not. strike for somebody who's going to be looking for an epic game store. So there's that. Then you have Steam. Okay, Steam devices, Steam controller, Steam installer. Most people are just going to go download the deb from steampower.com. Not going to lie. I'm not going to recommend this way of doing stuff with Steam. Mini Galaxy, if you want to manage your GOG. Nothing. So the 3 biggest stores for PC gaming, you can get to one of them, and it's not even through the repository. That's the recommended way of doing it. Crap user experience again. Let's get into Vulkan stuff. Vulkan. Mesa, DXVK, which is very much needed for things like, I don't know, Wine to Work. Not installed. All this stuff should be pulled down. If somebody installs the Epic Games Launcher, or not the Epic Game Launcher, this Heroic Game Launcher, or any of that kind of stuff, this stuff should all be tied in together as a full package to just go. Things like Proton Up is another one, for like Proton Up isn't there. Like, there's so many things missing just from the repos. It's not even funny. So that's just like base surface level stuff. It's not like OpenRGB that's not in the repositories. That's not like Razer stuff. That's not like Core Control. That's not like Green with Envy not being there. Those are all overclocking utilities and fan curves and all the shit gamers are going to want aren't there. The fact that I'm using this old of a version of OBS just does not deal with the headaches of the Snap store and snaps. And I'm not against snaps. I use snaps. But the fact of the matter is, I don't have the headaches that I normally would with another version of OBS through the Snap store or the Snap install. But this version's so old, it doesn't have some of the improvements that live streamers that are gamers would love. So this particular instance right here, you click on the box that you want. Normally on the newer versions of OBS, a text field is down here. So if this text, you wouldn't have to right click, go to properties, and then change it in here. You could literally select the font, change the font and text input here, and just hit enter and go. You never leave the actual streaming studio look. And that saves time and less time buried in menus to interact with your audience for a gamer. There's no things like noise torch. There's no things like... really what it boils down to is one simple thing. The fact that a 12-year-old developer who is maintaining on very, very much life support DE with a custom spin on it is doing more work for your gaming on Ubuntu than a bunch of paid people at Canonical with one app. And you want to know why Ubuntu has gone from the de facto standard to being the forgotten one? Is because there's no focus beyond IoT and anything else. Everything else is secondary and lost and forgotten. And money's important, but also if you want to grow that, you kind of got to pay attention to it. And really, what it really boils down to is Canonical, you kind of forgot about what brought you to the dance, which was the community. And that's really, really sad. Because if you could take the best of the community and package it right, which a 12-year-old has done, that you guys can't, you'd be in a lot better position. And you're probably a decade later would still be that de facto instead of Manjaro. And that's from Valve, not just us.